Hello everyone, my name is James Ryan and I'm here to teach you how to build a redstone computer in Minecraft. So, what I'm doing here is you see this lever is now strongly powering this. I'm doing it from the ground up, so that's why, if you haven't been watching along. Teaching you how to build a redstone computer in Minecraft from the ground up. As you can see here, what this lever is doing is it's strongly powering this block, which is then weakly powering this redstone. But the redstone is acting a bit different. What redstone does is redstone starts off, when you weakly power redstone, it starts off with a signal strength of 16. And with this, it will continue sending on redstones. It will continue sending this redstone signal to other redstone until it eventually decays to a signal strength of 0. As you can see, if I hook this up, the signal strength decays right here, and you can tell because these two blocks are not, smoking above the redstone with red smoke. But what does redstone itself do when it is powered? When redstone has any signal strength at all, it will do the following. It will strongly power blocks underneath it. So if I can show you here that this block is being strongly powered because it's being strongly powered by the redstone, and then it's weakly powering any blocks adjacent to it, like so. All the redstone is being powered like this. I can also prove that it works like normal, and I can prove this works like normal redstone signals because actually, here's an example. As you can see here, this block is so as you can see, what's happening here is that these blocks aren't being strongly powered anymore because the redstone signal isn't being connected to them. But this block here is being strongly powered, which is weakly powering this block and this block. This block here is also being strongly powered, which is then weakly powering this block. But this block is not being powered yet. But if I were to place redstone here, even if I got rid of this, I'll power it from the other end just to show you. If I power it from here, it will strongly power this block and then weakly power this block, so both of these will be powered. Okay, that's basic redstone. So, that's the basics of redstone. I've got extended reach on, if you couldn't tell. Probably going to want to turn item drops off as well. But now let's talk about the first logic gates. The first, easiest and simplest logic gate is the NOT gate. And the NOT gate is simple. It's just a redstone torch. Like so. I'm gonna hook up some redstone to this anyway. Also, redstone will actually, more important things to know about redstone. Actually, there's more. Redstone will power blocks that, to help demonstrate, I've got this block and a piece of redstone. Okay, cool. So this block is being strongly powered, which is then weakly powering this redstone, and this redstone will then, attach to other redstone, etc., etc. Let's take a look at how this powers. Okay. Powers blocks adjacent to it. If I were to put blocks adjacent to this redstone, it would power all of them, as you might expect. These blocks will be strongly powered, not weakly powered as well. So that is another thing to note. So that is good. It will strongly power all blocks around it, but not quite. That's not the final story. Because you'll notice, if I have these lights like so, if I have these lights like so, or like this, and all of a sudden I do this, something interesting is going to happen. Only these two blocks will be powered now. What gives? Well, thing is, redstone only strongly powers things that it is facing towards. It will strongly power things, but only things that it is pointing at. So as you can see, in this configuration, redstone is pointing at that block. Now that you see what I'm doing here, I'll further demonstrate by putting a redstone torch underground, like so, putting a piece of dirt on top of it, and here is a strongly powered piece of redstone. All these blocks here powered by it. However, if I do this, it will not be powered because it is not facing towards anyone. Likewise, these two blocks here, which are powered, all of these three blocks, if I then make the redstone take a turn, it will not power any of them because it is now not pointing to any of them. In fact, if I make it go in a circle like this, it won't be powering any blocks at all. It will not power a single one of these blocks because it is in this loop. Only if I were to do something like this would it power that single block, because that is the only block it is pointing towards. However, one thing to note is that redstone dots, that is, redstone on its own, not connected to any other redstone, is actually directionless. That is, it will power all adjacent blocks strongly, rather than, because as far as it's concerned, it's pointing at all of them, rather than none of them as it may look like. So, it's more like a cross rather than a dot. But redstone dots do that. Okay, now that you know the basics of redstone, it's time to move into logic gates. The simplest logic gate is the NOT gate. And it's made like so. If I just have some I'll put an input here. This is my input. And this is my output. When the input is off, the output it will not power the torch, so the torch will then power the output, and the output will be on. However, if I were to power the torch by turning the input on, the output will then be off. This is a NOT gate or an inverter. It's so named because it inverts the signal, and it's called a NOT gate because the output is what is not the input. It's what the input is not. So output is not the input. Go away, pig. I have extended reach, but only normal hitting range, which is interesting. So that's good. Now let's talk about the OR gate. Here's an example of an OR gate. In fact, the OR gate is pretty much, in Redstone at least, doesn't really seem that much like a gate at all. It's pretty much just inherent in Redstone mechanics. But if we were to treat these two levers as an input, and this piece of redstone, this outcoming line of redstone as an output, then this would be an OR gate. If I put either input on or both of them, then it will be powered. That's pretty much inherent in the characteristics of the redstone. It's just transferring the signal to adjacent redstone pieces. Right? Exactly. But let's think about it as if it were an OR gate. If input A is on, then the output is on. If input B is on, then the output is on. If both outputs are off, then it is not on. And if both of them are on, then it is on. So the output is on if A or B is on. That's why it's called an OR gate. But it's also on if A and B are on. So this is what we know as an inclusive OR, because it includes the possibility, it includes the condition where A and B are turned on. So now you learn about the NOT gate and the OR gate. Now there's something special that you can do when you have a NOT gate and an OR gate. That's build a computer. To build a computer, all you need to be able to do with your system is to be able to make NOT gates and OR gates. Because with a NOT gate and OR gate, you can then use combinations of the NOT gate and OR gate to create all of the other gates that can possibly exist. Every single other gate. So I'll give you let's give you an example, eh? Alright. But first, just before I do that, let me teach you some more terminology. If I add